Welcome, and thank you for checking out my video series on running grief support groups. This video is part of a set of 3 short videos briefly outlining the therapeutic factors that make a support group effective. In the introductory video for this series, linked in the video description, I grouped the 11 therapeutic factors defined by Irvin Yalom into 3 loose categories. This video will address therapeutic factors under a category I have labeled emotional and psychological support, encompassing universality, catharsis, and instillation of hope. Before we begin, I want to emphasize that all 11 of these factors can overlap or link together, and that the categorization I've presented here is merely functional. So rather than thinking of them as being isolated ingredients for group success, it can be helpful to acknowledge how facilitation of one therapeutic factor can lead to the development of another. Universality, generally defined, is the awareness that others share our experiences. As I've run support groups and have conducted nearly 100 intake interviews for my groups, I have found that a desire to experience universality is the primary reason people seek out support groups, and unlike some of the other therapeutic factors that take time to emerge, universality can be established and experienced from the very first group meeting as participants share their stories. Especially following the loss of a loved one, many people find themselves feeling isolated and unable to connect with others over their emotions, and a grief support group can offer a safe place to test the assumption that there are other people experiencing a grief reaction and that there can be support found in a shared experience. Related to this therapeutic factor, I want to take the time to address the subject of a homogeneous versus a heterogeneous group. Homogeneity, or sameness, within a group can help participants quickly identify similarities in their experience with others. For grief support groups, this may look like focusing on a particular participant age range or cause of death. Heterogeneity, or difference, within a group can sometimes obstruct the experience of universality. If a participant feels that others are too different from them, they may not feel safe enough to experience this and other therapeutic factors. However, difference also gives room for a variety of perspectives, where participants can cover for one another's blind spots. My own groups tend toward a higher level of heterogeneity because I've noticed that a paradox emerges under that condition. As many different people come together, they are more prone to noticing the similarities in their experience. Some of the more homogeneous groups I've facilitated have focused more, both to their benefit and detriment, on the differences in their loss experience. For example, a group I ran on mother loss led to many insights about the different ways people can relate to their mothers, but also led to infighting about caregiver trauma between those who were caregivers and those who were not. Catharsis, which is a word derived from the Greek word for cleaning, is the process by which a person experiences the release of internal tension through the sharing of pleasant or unpleasant emotions that are not shared elsewhere. In support groups, participants are encouraged to share personal stories and emotions, which often can lead to cathartic experience. Within the support group format, this is often considered a primary objective, since the focus is placed so heavily on sharing stories, experiences, and emotions. Catharsis has long been regarded as an essential part of therapy and support, as this release of tension can help a person feel more capable of forging a new path in their life. With that said, catharsis alone may not be enough for lasting healing. Many group participants may have had cathartic experiences prior to joining the group, say crying into a pillow or journaling about their loss, but still require other therapeutic factors in order to experience a lasting change. This is likely not a therapeutic factor you'll witness in the early stages of a group, as true catharsis requires a sense of safety within the setting. The final therapeutic factor within this category is instillation of hope. For support groups, I consider this to be the backbone of the participant experience. While universality is often the factor that motivates a person to seek a support group, it is hope that provides the fuel for engagement with the group and with the change process. Without hope, a person has no reason to sustain engagement and will likely drop out of the group without having experienced the promise of healing. The process of building hope begins from the very first encounter with a new participant, where the facilitator can help the person to feed the hope that motivated them to seek out a support group in the first place. This hope then becomes further developed as the participants see themselves and others change over the course of the group experience. Successes and resilience can be highlighted to help give participants a burst of hope. Thank you for watching this video. If there are any questions about these therapeutic factors or other aspects of support group facilitation you want to see covered in a future video, please feel free to comment below.